The 13th time Xie Lin kicked me out of the carriage. I knew it was over between us. Qin Zhaoning, don't you even know the proper way to disembark? Xie Lin lifted the curtain, his gaze cold as he looked at me. I stared down at the mud clinging to the hem of my skirt. Suddenly, I remembered when I was 7. Xie Lin carrying me through the streets after the rain. His own shoes were caked in mud, yet he had kept my embroidered shoes perfectly clean. A soft giggle echoed from inside the carriage. Lu Yue leaned out. Sister, please don't be angry. It was my idea to try the apricot pudding on West Street. So Lin was rushing to get there. Xie Lin tossed a bag of silver coins at me with a cold expression. If you're sulking, get lost. By your own carriage. I obediently left. But Xie Lin went mad. Stepping down from the carriage, my knee struck a roadside stone. The jade bracelet slipped from my wrist, shattering on the ground. It was Xie Lin's birthday gift to me. Qin Zhaoning, don't you even know how to dismount properly? Look at yourself now. You merely feared the carriage's jolting and walked slowly. What are you sulking about? So inconsiderate. How could you compare to Yuli's docility? The curtain lifted, and Xie Lin stared straight at me. With age, his brows and eyes had grown sharper. I stared at the shattered bracelet on the ground. The inscription, "May we meet year after year," now unreadable. Suddenly, I recalled that spring rain when I was 7. Young Xie Lin carried me, wounded, across the rain-soaked marsh. Back then, the waistcord he wore was the one ID made for him. Now, it held a fragrant pouch embroidered with mimosa flowers by Lu Yuli. Mimosa flowers, me absolute favorite. Lin, the apricot paste shop on West Street is closing. If you truly don't wish to go, sister, don't force yourself. Lu Yuli peered out from behind the carriage curtain, her robe slipping to reveal a mark on her neck that stung my eyes. On her wrist was Xie Lin's armguard's birthday gift ID, spent 3 months sewing for him. Back then, even mother often said she pitied my eyes. Now, the gift I poured my heart into adorns another's wrist. Xie Lin's voice rang out. Go by your own carriage. If you're going to throw a tantrum, just get lost. The surrounding murmurs wouldn't cease. Isn't that Miss Shin? How pitiful being thrown off the carriage like that. Heard she's been abandoned, her fiancé ran off with someone else. Ha 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 ha. If she's unwanted, I suppose I could just barely. So much for a noble lady. She's not even as good as my little girl. My nails dug into my palms. It was raining again. By the time I returned home, I was soaked through. Chun Tao kept adding coal to the brazier. My heart grew cold. Yet my body no longer felt the chill. That young general is so inconsiderate, not even seeing the young lady off, making her walk all the way back. I silently laughed at Chun Tao's naivety. The young general won't be coming back anymore. My arm ached, still bearing the force from Xie Lin's violent shove. At least drink some ginger soup, miss, to warm yourself. If you catch a cold from the rain, master will worry. A violent coughing fit left me speechless. In a daze, I recalled that spring rain years ago when I ran a high fever. Ignoring warnings, Xie Lin climbed over the wall to see me. After returning home, he faced punishment for breaking the rules. Xie Lin knelt there, his slender back radiating an unyielding strength. As he left, he suddenly turned and placed a dried apricot into my mouth. Ning, get well soon. When summer comes, they'll take you to pick apricots. Now, the youth who carried me on his back feeds apricots to another. At the third watch, my fever spiked. Miss, wake up. You mustn't leave us. Chun Tao's tearful voice reached my ears. The imperial physician said this fever will damage your lungs and heart. Miss, please wake up. I grasped her sleeve and murmured. West Street. Apricot pudding. That was what Xie Lin had always disliked most. When Lu Yue mentioned craving it, head dash out in the rain to buy some, yet forgot the scar on my hand. Still faintly pink. From when I burned myself learning to make plum blossom cakes for him. I suddenly laughed aloud. So deep was our youthful love. It could truly lead to mutual loathing. When 12-year-old Xie Lin said, "Aining, look, the mimosa flowers are blooming," he could snap 3 bows clean in 2 at the training ground, just to pluck the highest mimosa branch for me. His young palms were torn raw by the bowstring, yet he cradled the blossoms against his chest, handing them to me still warm with his touch. Our Aining deserves the world's finest, the most beautiful mimosa blossom on the entire tree. I picked it for you. Ah Ning, only the most beautiful mimosa blossom is worthy of you, so I give it to you. Xie Lin's eyes sparkled brightly, like a puppy's. Click. I opened the cabinet. Inside were all the gifts Xie Lin had ever given me. We'd been together since childhood, and every year on my birthday, he would present me with a gift. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. So many had accumulated. Yet now, they were no longer needed. Clear it all away. I instructed Chun Tao. Burn these old belongings from all these years. 7 days later, at the banquet in the northern Marquis mansion, through the screen, I heard the noble ladies whispering with snickers. That Shen girl chased after young General Xie for 10 years. Now he spends all his time with that Lu Yueli. She must be suffering. I also heard that young General Xie is serious this time. He's even gone so far as to call off the engagement with Shen Zhaoning. She might just hang herself, they say. Xie Shaojiang took Miss Lu to try apricot pudding on West Street just days ago, even kicking Shen Zhaoning off the carriage, with so many witnesses. Shen Zhaoning's pride probably couldn't bear such humiliation. Xie Shaojiang never cared for such things before. No matter how many times Shen Zhaoning begged him, he always found it bothersome, so it was just that she wasn't worth his attention. Suddenly, a voice rang out, "Brother Xie." Amidst the hall's roaring laughter, the beaded curtain was lifted aside as Xie Lin and Lu Yueli entered side by side. Xie Lin helped Lu Yueli to the seat of honor. He and I exchanged a glance. "Miss Ning, you look unwell. Has your old ailment flared up? Have you seen a physician? Your constitution has always been delicate." "Oh, Miss Ning, how considerate." In the past, he would have already removed his cloak to wrap around my chilled body. "The hairpin on your head is quite nice. I'd almost forgotten this pin was also a gift from Xie Lin. It hadn't been burned completely that day." As Xie Lin spoke, Lu Yueli turned to me, her eyes reddening. I'd heard that when Sister Zhao Ning came of age, Lin personally crafted a jade hairpin for her. Unlike me, don't even have a decent hairpin. My birth is far less noble than my sister's. It's only natural Lin doesn't hold me in high regard. Her voice trembled, on the verge of tears. Xie Lin, unfazed, replied, "Shen Zhaoning, return the hairpin to Yuelu." A cold laugh echoed in my heart. General Xie jests. When have my possessions ever needed returning? I yanked the hairpin from my hair and flung it to the ground. Old things belong in old places. Xie Lin seized my wrist, veins bulging. "You know full well you vowed to wear this hairpin for life. Besides, you merely wanted one of your hairpins. Why such cruelty? Throw it away." "Shen Zhaoning, how could you be so cruel? Where has all your former gentleness and kindness gone?" Lu Yueli froze for a moment before saying, "It's all my fault. Ah Lin, it's all Yueli's fault. Sister, please don't be angry. They'll give Lin back to you right now. I don't want the hairpin either. Lin will surely give me another." Watching them, I sneered inwardly. Young General Xie has such a good memory. How could you forget that last Lantern Festival, when you said you'd marry me, Shen Zhaoning? And now, not marrying you is my good fortune. As she finished speaking, the Buddhist beads on Xie Lin's wrists suddenly snapped apart, scattering sandalwood beads across the floor. That was a gift I'd begged for by kneeling for 3 days in a Buddhist temple when I was 14. Even heaven seems to think our fate is severed. Amidst the hall's silence, Lu Yueli suddenly said, "I shouldn't have come at all," needlessly angering Lin and sister. "Indeed, you shouldn't have come." A cold laugh rose in my chest as I cut her off. Since when are girls from the music bureau permitted to attend banquets at a marquis residence? Imperial decree explicitly forbids musicians from the music bureau from sharing a table with officials. Lu Yueli's face drained of color as she looked pitifully towards Xie Lin. Xie Lin's pupils contracted sharply as he shouted, "Qin Zhaoning, how dare you speak to Yuer like that?" Young General Xie certainly has a grand sense of authority, the Marquis of Zhenbai's wife suddenly interjected. I was unaware the Xie family's rules now supersede those of the imperial court. The Marquis of Zhenbai's wife was my mother's closest confidant, treating me as her own daughter, on her turf. She would never allow me to be humiliated. With that, she gave me a reassuring nod. Xie Lin glanced at me. Qin Zhaoning, I never imagined you could be such a vicious woman. You used to feign such innocence, I never saw through it. Yuli already has such a pitiful background. Yet you show her not a shred of compassion. Besides, she's already apologized to you. What more do you want? Where has that kind-hearted person you once were gone? You're truly beyond redemption. Lu Yueli suddenly began to sob. Sister, don't be angry with Alin. He only doesn't want to see me bullied. He's just worried about me. Sister, you. Smack. Before Lu Yueli could finish, I turned my hand and slapped her across the face. This is bullying you. Besides, when did a musician from the Imperial Music Bureau ever become my sister? At my words, the surrounding crowd murmured in disapproval. I remained unmoved. The Xin family's honor must not be tarnished. Young General Xie, take your men and depart. No need to linger. Xie Lin seized Lu Yueli's wrist. Yueli, let's go. I smiled with resignation, and never wished to see Xie Lin again. It was summer. The official road outside the capital had been washed out by torrential rains. Father had been appointed river commissioner, and I volunteered to assist with disaster relief. At the northern suburbs soup kitchen, countless displaced people gathered. Holding scissors, I slid open a sack from the Xie family grain depot, preparing to distribute provisions to the 7th group of refugees. Miss, this sack of rice absolutely must not be opened. The master specifically ordered it. The shopkeeper clung to it fiercely. This is Jiangnan glutinous rice reserved for Miss Liu's birthday banquet. Please, miss, have mercy. I have an elderly mother to support and children to feed. I cannot afford to lose this job. I dare not disobey the master's command. If you need rice, please use the grain over there. I wiped the rain from my face and glanced at the darkened grain nearby. I insist on using it. I pressed the scissors tip against the sack. Is the Xie family's grain more precious than 300 lives in the northern suburbs? Human lives hold no distinction of worth. Should the Xie family dismiss you in the future, you shall come to serve at the Xin residence. While I argued with the steward, the crowd suddenly stirred. Watch out. A strong hand caught my waist just in time. I looked up and met a pair of eyes. Your rice is about to spill. With that, he let go. Thank you. An unfamiliar face. I didn't ask further. After distributing the grain, I left. Every day after that, I encountered this young master in the northern suburb. Sometimes he was delivering grain, sometimes playing with children, sometimes comforting an old man grieving the loss of a relative. By chance, I learned that this noble young man who had lifted me from the mud was Jiang Yanzhou, the only son of the Jiang family, the wealthiest in Jiangnan. The matriarch of the Jiang family was none other than the Empress Dowager's own sister, making Jiang Yanzhou her nephew, with wealth rivaling a nation and the Empress Dowager as his powerful patron. This royal relative personally came to the northern suburbs to aid the disaster victims. It truly commanded respect. Young Master Jiang has come to deliver grain again. Blessed be the Bodhisattva. Young Master Jiang is truly a great benefactor. Truly, good deeds are rewarded. At last. Grain. Husband, hurry and get some. Don't dawdle or we'll miss our turn. Don't let it run out, little worm hasn't eaten all day. The room of starving people surged toward the door. I moved backward against the flow, just as I was about to bump into the charcoal brazier. A pair of hands immediately braced against my lower back. This is the third time since I first met you. Jiang Yan's voice carried a hint of amusement. Miss Shen always seems to be stumbling. Why must young Master Jiang personally oversee the relief efforts? I noticed a torn corner on his robe, the same one torn by a starving villager during yesterday's grain distribution. My mother once said, a life-saving hand must be extended personally to truly count. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed since meeting Jiang Yanzhou. That day, my hand was cut by scissors, with the imperial physicians all occupied aiding the victims. I intended to wait until returning home to tend to it. Unexpectedly, upon seeing it, Jiang Yanzhou insisted on bandaging the wound himself. Miss Shen's hands shouldn't be doing such rough work. A young lady should live a life of delicacy. Is young Master Jiang this considerate to everyone? I asked with a smile. The day before yesterday you gave Widow Wang a silver hairpin. And yesterday you helped Miss Liu's younger sister apply her eyebrow makeup. That was to teach her how to sign for the disaster relief silver. With that, he pulled out a bag, opened it, and handed it to me. The last apricot pudding from West Street. He then flashed me a triumphant smile. Like a puppy seeking praise, I stared blankly at the pudding, taking a moment to process. Why are you being so kind to me? Jiang Yanzhou looked at me. I first met you that year at Huaguosi Temple, feeding the stray cats. So it was you. Back then, I'd gone to Huagu Temple to pray for Xie Lin's recovery for 3 days. During that time, I happened upon an orange cat. For the 3 days I stayed at the temple, I fed that orange cat for 3 days. On the second day, a group of boys bullied the orange cat. Looking fierce and menacing, though I was a girl, I don't know where I found the courage, but I stubbornly shielded the orange cat behind me. The kitty is so pitiful, you can't bully it. The boys wouldn't listen and even tried to wrestle the cat from me. Just then, a stone happened to hit the leader's head. Then another, and another, and another. The boys scattered. As the crowd dispersed, I saw a youth in red robes standing across from me. That youth in red was Jiang Yanzhou. He had recognized me all along. Covering my mouth, I gasped, "It's you. You're the brother who protected me and the kitty." His eyes instantly brightened, like an unquenchable spark. "Ning Ning, you've finally recognized me." Ever since that day of mutual recognition, the young master of Jiangnan's wealthiest family had become uncharacteristically attentive. First, he began delivering gifts to the Shen residents, daily grapes from the western regions one day, lychees from Lingnan the next. This morning, he even brought a pure white stallion. It truly confirmed his status as the sole heir to the wealthiest family in Jiangnan. Second, this young Master Jiang seemed like a different person. Once aloof and detached, now he, little Ning Ning, look how pure white this horse is. As adorable as you, would you grace me with your company for a gallop at the riding grounds? I can't even imagine how happy I'd be if little Ning Ning let me accompany her horseback riding. Ever since Xie Lin remarked that horseback riding was unbecoming for a lady, I hadn't ridden again, though I'd once loved it dearly. The thought stirred a longing within me, and I nodded in agreement. The equestrian grounds outside the capital. Jiang Yanzhou smiled as he placed the reins in my palm. This steed is named Moonbringer. It suits one as radiant as the moon, one like you. Ning Ning, wrap the reins 3.5 times. Don't press down on the stirrups. If you fall, roll backward to the right. Don't be afraid. I'm here. Little Ning Ning, your fate is in my hands, not the heavens. Charge forward boldly. So noisy. Before he could finish his last sentence, I spurred Xianyu forward, gaining distance, growing farther and farther from Jiang Yanzhou. Jiang Yanzhou slapped his forehead. Ha! Little Ning Ning, so you can ride after all. I thought you couldn't. What a waste of my affection. A moment passed. Boom! A thunderous crash. Xianyu startled, and I was thrown backward. Eyes closed. I braced for the fall. No expected pain came. I opened my eyes. There stood Xie Lin behind me. his hands firmly clasped around my waist. I wrenched myself free. Let go. Seeing my struggle, Xie Lin grew flustered. Ah Ning. You always claimed to be afraid when I taught you to ride before. Now you dare come to this riding ground alone. I sneered coldly. Has General Xie forgotten? Last winter hunt, you promised to take me riding. Yet turned around and took Lu Yueli to the northern city's hot springs for the winter. But without you, this horse ranch is far more entertaining. As we spoke, Jiang Yinzhou rode over leisurely on his horse and declared, Ningning's affairs have nothing to do with you. This was directed at Xie Lin. Little Ningning. Am hurt. Does he not care about me? Am I just a decoration? Little Ningning. Tell Macy I'm just your companion. That you have someone else. This was directed at me. Xie Lin shot a glance at Jiang Yinzhou, pointing at him as he shouted, Who is he? Qin Zhaoning. Who is he? Why is such an unscrupulous person by your side? I'm asking you. Answer me. What? You just left me and already can't wait to find someone new. Look at him. What kind of shady character are you picking up? Are you Qin Zhaoning? That desperate for affection? My expression remained impassive. You have your people. I have mine. What kind of person I, Qin Zhaoning, choose to be with is none of your business. General Xie, mind your own affairs. My matters require no concern from you. As we spoke, Lu Yueli charged toward me on horseback. Before I could react, she collided with Xian Yu, sending me reeling as the horse bucked violently. Both horses went wild. Charging toward the cliff's edge, Lu Yueli screamed, Alan, save me, Ning Ning, Ning. Two cries rang out, one from Jiang Yinzhou, the other from Xie Lin, who disregarded Lu Yueli's safety and raced toward me. Xian Yu charged forward like a mad beast. The mountain wind whipped past, stinging my cheeks. I told myself that to survive, I must stay calm. So I crouched low on the horse's back, searching for the moment to leap. Jiang Yinzhou and Xie Lin's shouts echoed in my ears. Before Xian Yu plunged over the cliff, I managed to jump off and landed on the ground. My palms hit the earth first, leaving trails of blood. Jiang Yinzhou pulled the reins, jumped down, and carefully examined my hand. Chao Ningning, are you okay? Don't be afraid. I'm here. Chao Ningning, it's all my fault. Hit me if you want. If I hadn't left you alone. He trailed off. Still, we should tend to this quickly. A young lady loves her beauty. Don't let it scar. Xie Lin's sword tip suddenly pointed at Jiang Yan's neck. Let go. I pushed the sword away with my bloodied hand. Stop. Xie Lin's eyes looked like a puppy abandoned by its owner. Ning. You let him touch you. I closed my eyes. General Xian needn't trouble himself. Jiang Yinzhou hadn't yet grasped what was happening. The scene fell silent, until Lu Yueli, weeping, threw herself into Xie Lin's arms. I was scared to death just now. Why didn't you come save me first? Lin. Sister clearly has someone to protect her. You don't need to worry. Lin. You don't understand. I was terrified just now. If the horse hadn't stopped suddenly, I would have fallen off the cliff by now. Xie Lin didn't respond to her, only staring at the bloodstain in my palm. Suddenly, Xie Lin tore open Lu Yueli's sleeve. A silver needle slid out from her sleeve. Xie Lin roared with fury. So it was you. Lu Yueli panicked. Lin, listen to me. It's not what you think. I don't know how this silver needle ended up in my sleeve. Lin, believe me, I wouldn't harm sister. My own horse went wild too. I nearly died at the cliff's edge. Lin, trust me. No sooner had I spoken than Lu Yueli's horse halted precariously at the cliff's edge. So her horse hadn't been mad at all. I yanked the hairpin from my hair and thrust it into Lu Yueli's left palm. Ignoring her wails, Lu Yueli, you stabbed my Xian Yu, nearly costing me my life. This is for Xian Yu's life. I pulled the hairpin out and stabbed it into Lu Yueli's right hand. This is to warn you never harbor ill intentions toward me again. When you see me, take a detour. If you dare provoke me once more, I'll make you pay with your life. And then, Xie Lin won't be able to protect you. I turned to leave. Xie Lin staggered after me. Ning. I was wrong. Xie Lin. I shook my head. Some things, once broken, can never be put back together. In the afternoon, I sat at my desk practicing calligraphy. Chun Tao ground ink beside me, occasionally glancing up at me, as if wanting to say something but holding back. Miss, are you truly going to attend the Hanlin Academy poetry gathering with young Master Jiang? Chun Tao finally couldn't hold back. Want young General Xie get angry if he finds out. My brush paused. Chun Tao, I thought you understood. Say things like that again, and you'll face punishment yourself. From now on, anything concerning Xie Lin is none of my business. Chun Tao pressed her lips together, ultimately saying nothing more. Later, at the Hanlin Academy poetry gathering, Zhou, how about pairing misty mountains, rain-drenched wonders with lotus fragrance drifts far. Breeze carries its quiet charm. Jiang Yance's hand holding the brush paused. Ning, your couplet is brilliant. It makes my earlier sunlit water shimmers, fair and clear weather seem rather vulgar. Cheers erupted from the crowd. Even Master Chin, the poetry gathering's host, nodded repeatedly. Your couplets complement each other perfectly as if you've rehearsed them 1,000 times. Applause filled the room. Alan, Lucas and that sister. Lu Yueli's voice rang out. Sister possesses such literary talent, standing beside young Master Jiang. They truly are a match made in heaven. Hearing this voice, Jiang Yanzhou stepped forward. Miss Lu is joking. Ning is naturally outstanding, not someone you should be judging. With so many people at this poetry gathering, your words might cause misunderstandings. Women value their reputation. I hope you'll choose your words carefully. I looked at Lu Yueli and said calmly, let her say what she wants. I warned her last time provoke me again, and I'll take her life. Hearing this, Lu Yueli felt a sharp pain in her hand. Fuming, she stormed off to drink her tea. I turned to see Xie Lin standing at the staircase entrance, his gaze fixed on me with a heavy intensity. Ning, have you been spending much time with that Jiang Yanzhou lately? I set down my teacup and replied calmly. In what capacity is General Xie inquiring about my affairs now? His face paled as he stepped forward. Ning, I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have thrown you from the carriage, shouldn't have humiliated you in public, and certainly shouldn't have forgotten the promise we made since childhood. I don't know what came over me, we used to be the closest of friends. Ning, I can't believe you treat me this way, even though I did something foolish. Xie Lin, I cut him off. Do you remember last Lantern Festival? You always called the lanterns tacky, yet you lit a pond full of lotus lanterns for Lu Yueli. Even I envied her then. You claimed strategy essays were tedious and refused to accompany me to the study. Yet you spent an entire month copying the book of songs with her. You claimed the apricot pudding on West Street was unsanitary. Yet you personally drove through the rain to buy it for Lu Yueli. I'm not the person I once was. I refuse to be trapped in these painful memories anymore. I've moved on. You're the one who hurt me. But when father was posted elsewhere and left me alone in the capital, it was you who stayed by my side through my childhood. That bond ensures I hold no hatred toward you. But you do not appear before me again. He froze in place, his fingertips trembling slightly. I rose and brushed past him. Some things, once missed, are truly lost. Jiang Yanzhou approached and said, Ning, would you allow me to take this poem for framing? If you like it. Zhou, take it. Qin Zhaoning. Xie Lin sprang to his feet, his eyes bloodshot as he fixed his gaze on the poem tucked in Lu Yance's sleeve. You promised me you'd write poetry only for me in this lifetime. You promised me all the beauty this world could express through verse would belong to me. And Ning, how dare you break a promise you made to me? You are mine. You said how dare you break a promise you made to someone. That night, 12 boxes of gifts arrived from the Xie residence. All were objects I'd cherished since childhood. Honeysuckle-patterned hairpins, wooden figurines, chubby-headed dolls, Xiangji's peach blossom pastries, Zufang's calming incense. Chun Tao slammed the lid shut. Her cheeks puffed out. The young general suddenly knows how to send gifts now. Just days ago. Send them back. I instructed Chun Tao. Return those 12 boxes to the Xie residence, exactly as they were delivered. That night, Xie Lin climbed through the window. Ning. His voice was hoarse and strained. I sprang to my feet. Has young General Xie abandoned all decorum? Breaking into a maiden's chamber at night, your manner mirrors that of Miss Liu from the Imperial Music Bureau. Xie Lin staggered, grabbing the table for support. Do you remember that lantern festival year? I remember. I cut him off. You said the festival lanterns were both dazzling and vulgar. Yet you set a river full of lotus lanterns for Lu Yueli. Even the children around said you two were a perfect match. You called the imperial essays tedious, yet spent a whole month copying the admonitions for women with her. But when I asked you to accompany me to the study, you dismissed it as boring and refused outright. Xie Lin, you always say I've changed, but the one who's truly changed is you. The day you took off the rosary I made for you and accepted the sachets she embroidered, my Xie Lin died, and Ning his Adam's apple bobbed. I found the old man who makes apricot pudding on West Street. I smiled. General Xie must be mistaken. I've never liked apricot pudding. General Xie, please leave. Otherwise, they'll have to ask father to intervene. Xie Lin lingered. Ning. Trust me one more time. Unmoved, I said. Chun Tao, go fetch father. Tell him General Xie has disturbed us repeatedly. Let father intervene and ask Uncle Xie to properly discipline his son. Uncle Xie had been furious over Xie Lin breaking off the engagement and consorting with Lu Yueli. He fell ill within days and still hadn't fully recovered. Thug. Xie Lin had committed many absurd acts for Lu Yueli. He was, after all, a filial son. Xie Lin said. Ning, there's no need to summon father. I'll leave immediately. After that night when Xie Lin scaled the wall and I drove him away, I never saw him again. These days, I lived a quiet, carefree life. The disaster relief efforts were nearly concluded. Lu Yinzhou has been visiting more frequently. He seems different from when I first met him. Back then he appeared composed, but now he talks so much it feels downright noisy. Today, Jiang Yinzhou came again. Ning. I still remember that year at Hubei Temple when you said you wanted to make a silver bell for the orange cat. Unfortunately, you left in such a hurry that it never happened. So I sought out Suzhou's finest jade artisan. Here. Look. Jiang Yinzhou opened a box and handed it to me. Inside was a silver bell shaped like a cat. A silver bell for our fur ball. The little orange cat at Hubei Temple wasn't blessed enough. But our fur ball is a lucky little kitty. Just as I took it, the cat's belly suddenly sprang open. Inside lay a yellowed sheet of Xian paper, bearing a crooked drawing of a little girl with 2 buns feeding a cat. I looked up. You actually remembered this. I hastily closed the silver bell. His low chuckle reached my ears. I remember everything Ning ever said. Good boy. Mao Qiu, put on your bell. Let me see. A sudden noise came from outside the window. It was Xie Lin scaling the wall to enter. Furry ball faced Xie Lin. Meow meow meow. Furry ball, I called softly. Furry ball immediately perked its tail and leaped into my arms. Jiang Yinzhou chuckled as he stuffed dried meat into its mouth. This little one knows its master. Furry ball was rescued by Xie Lin during a hunt years ago. When I mentioned liking it, he gave it to me as a gift. Ning, look, this little kitty's eyes sparkle just like yours. I'll give it to you when I'm not by your side. I hope this cat can keep you company. Back then, Furry Ball was utterly devoted to Xie Lin too. Xie Lin's fingertips dug into his palm. It used to be extremely devoted to me too. His words abruptly trailed off. Mao Chao suddenly yelled at him again. Meow 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 meow. It only quieted down when Jiang Yanzhou took it. General Xie. It's best you keep your distance. Jiang Yanzhou scratched Mao Qia's chin. Furry ball is exceptionally perceptive. It no longer recognizes you. Xie Lin suddenly dropped to his knees. I was wrong. Ning ning. Now even furry ball refuses to acknowledge me. I've lost the one I've longed to marry since childhood. I led Jiang Yanzhou away without looking back. As Jiang Yanzhou left the Shen residence, Xie Lin remained kneeling outside. General Xie, there's no need for this. Ning Ning will never look back. Thank you for your blindness. General, it has only served to grant me my wish. Xie Lin glared at him viciously. Don't be so absolute. Ning Ning and I grew up together. Before Xie Lin could finish, Jiang Yanzhou had already departed. Suddenly, a heavy rain poured down outside. Chun Tao said, Miss. The rain is pouring down. I heard General Xie was stabbed while chasing an assassin a few days ago. And he's still kneeling outside. What should we do? Let him kneel. If he wants to kneel, let him kneel. Once his affairs are settled, they're none of my concern. I fell asleep. The next day, I heard Xie Lin had fainted in the wee hours and been taken home by his family. After Xie Lin collapsed that night, I never saw him again. Our next meeting came unexpectedly at the Empress Dowager's banquet. From Jiang Yanzhou, I learned 3 surprising things. The first was that Xie Lin had become betrothed to Lu Yueli. The second was that this match had been personally arranged by the Empress Dowager. The third was that the Empress Dowager had adopted Lu Yueli as her foster daughter. Lu Yueli was no longer a lowly member of the Imperial Music Bureau, but a noble princess. I looked up. Lu Yueli was pinning a flower in the Empress Dowager's hair. Her movements intimate and familiar. The Empress Dowager held Lu Yueli's hand and said, This peony suits you best. When you and Xie Lin wed, I shall bestow upon you the grandest peony garden in the capital to celebrate your marriage. Had Jiaro still been with us, she would be your age now. In an instant, disaster struck. Lu Yueli clutched her chest and collapsed. How could these flowers be poisoned? A sense of foreboding gripped my heart. Sister, how could you be so cruel? I am already betrothed to Lin. Why do you still hold a grudge against me? Cough cough cough. Quickly summon the imperial physician. Yuer. How are you? Don't frighten me. I have already lost Jiaro. I cannot lose you too. The Empress Dowager's gaze then swept over my skirt hem. Miss Shen, hold your position. 2 matrons immediately seized my shoulders. Jiang Yanzhou reacted first, forcefully shoving the 2 matrons aside. Aunt, please understand. Ning Ning is the one I truly love. I know her character best. She would never harm anyone. Xie Lin added, Your Majesty, the betrothal decree has been issued. Ning Ning has no reason to do such a thing. Besides, she wouldn't stoop to this. It's not worth it for my sake. Lu Yueli's maid knelt abruptly. This servant just saw Miss Shen smearing poison on the flower stem. She must be jealous of the Empress Dowager's favor toward you. I looked down at the peony that had rolled to my feet. Your Majesty, please understand. I broke free from the restraints and picked up the peony. To poison this flower, it must be soaked in poison for 3 hours. This servant simply had no time. Before I could finish, the Empress Dowager sprang to her feet. Enough. Guards, escort Shen Zhaoning to the imperial prison. Jiang Yanzhou stepped forward. Aunt, please wait. His words were cut off. The Empress Dowager interrupted. Zhou, if you don't want Shen Zhaoning dead immediately, keep silent. I nodded to Jiang Yanzhou, signaling him to stay calm. Jiang Yanzhou returned my gaze. I understood what he wanted to say. Don't be afraid. I'm here. 3 days have passed since I was imprisoned in the imperial prison. I measure time only by the faint light filtering through the small window in the corner. Jiang Yanzhou visited once, urging me to stay calm. In the dim confines of the prison, I thought calmly. Waiting indefinitely was not a solution. I had to find a way to save myself. I carefully recalled the first time I met Lu Yue. At first, Xie Lin still explained things to me. He had been suddenly attacked while returning victorious from his campaign against the Western Rong. And Lu Yue had saved him. Seeing her family gone and her alone, Xie Lin pitted her loneliness and her life-saving debt to him, so he brought her back. But how could Lu Yue, a mere orphaned girl, have survived in the barbaric Western Rong? And if she were an ordinary noblewoman, how could she have possessed the skills to enter the Imperial Music Bureau immediately upon returning to the capital? The cell door suddenly swung open. Lu Yue approached, lantern in hand. Are you pleased, sister? The Empress Dowager has issued her decree. At noon tomorrow, Xinjia's Haning shall be beheaded in public. May your blood spatter high, adding festive cheer to my wedding with Alan, and avenging the humiliation at the horse racing grounds. By the way, before you die, would you like to know why the Empress Dowager trusted me? With that, Lu Yue lifted her skirt, revealing a crescent-shaped birthmark on her right knee. The Empress Dowager personally verified it 7 days ago. She had heard her mother mention that Princess Jiaro had borne a crescent-shaped birthmark on her right knee since birth. Princess Jiaro was the Empress Dowager's first child, the elder sister of the current emperor. Despite her exalted status, she perished at the hands of a Western Rong assassin. How could Lu Yue know about the crescent birthmark? Could it be she was Shirong herself? That would align with Xie Lin's account of their meeting. Suddenly, I recalled a secret my father once shared about Shirong. Slaves of Shirong nobles bear flame-shaped tattoos etched behind their necks. Without betraying my thoughts, I fixed my gaze on the vermilion mole behind her ear. Is that so? Does your majesty know that the vermilion mark behind your ear was applied with Western Rong rouge? Her expression changed abruptly. I seized the moment to pull open her collar. The tattoo would turn blue when heated. I snatched the lantern from Lu Yue, pulled out the wick, and pressed it against her earlobe. As expected, a flame-like pattern gradually emerged from the vermilion birthmark behind her ear. Miss Lu, this mark does resemble the distinctive slave tattoo of Western Rong nobility. A sudden voice echoed from beyond the door. Jiang Yanzhou supported the Empress Dowager as they stood before the prison gate. The Empress Dowager's gaze immediately fixed on the flame-like mark behind Lu Yue's ear. Her anger flared instantly. Speak. Why do you bear the mark of the Western Rong? My beloved Jiaro perished at the hands of Western Rong assassins. What is your true identity? What purpose brings you before me? Her trembling finger pointed at Lu Yue. I should have seen this coming. How dare the Western Rong use my Jiaro as bait? Guards gouged out her eyes. Hang her at the city gate for 3 days. Let the Western Rong see the fate of those who scheme against the imperial family. Jiang Yanzhou said. Ning Ning, you've grown thin. Fear not. Am here. Auntie was deceived by Lady Lu. Now the truth is clear. A Western Rong slave schemed against our noble lady for personal gain, causing Ning Ning such undeserved suffering. Auntie, please issue an edict to summon Ning Ning forthwith, lest you chill Minister Shen's heart. The Empress Dowager patted my hand. My dear child, you've suffered. It was this old woman's longing for her daughter that clouded her judgment. Do not blame me. Your humble servant dares not. Lu Yue had her eyes gouged out and was hung on the city walls for 3 days as a warning. On the 4th day, she bit her tongue and took her own life. The Empress Dowager ordered a thorough investigation into Lu Yue's origins. Only then was the truth uncovered about the injury Xie Lin sustained during his triumphant return from Shirong. It turned out Lu Yue had been selected by Western Rong nobles as a spy to infiltrate Xie Lin's inner circle and gather intelligence. Yet the spy fell in love with the anemia, fate doomed to tragedy. Another lantern festival arrived. Ning Ning. Look. Jiang Yanzhou suddenly pointed toward the night sky. Fireworks instantly bloomed across the heavens. I've worn this jade pendant for 20 years. It's my most precious possession. I never believed in fate, but I trusted this jade to keep me safe. Ning Ning. You are more precious than my life. Now I give it to you. Ning Ning, you are my most treasured treasure. I never said I wanted it. I lowered my head, refusing to look at him, my face flushing crimson, when Xie Lin burst through the Shin residence gates with the invitation in hand. Double happiness lanterns hung beneath the eaves. Ning, you're marrying him. He pointed at Jiang Yanzhou. Ning, you said you'd marry me when you were 10. I never believed a person could change so much. Ning, don't let him cloud your judgment. No need to worry. I cut him off. General Xie. Choose your words carefully. I know exactly what kind of person Zhou is. Zhou would never humiliate me for another, nor abandon me for someone else. General Xie. Zhou. What truly matters? You and I can never go back. Suddenly, the clatter of hooves echoed outside. An imperial edict has arrived. Xie Lin is ordered to proceed immediately to Human Pass. Xie Lin's bloodshot eyes fixed on me. Take care. The frontier is bitterly cold. May General Xie take good care of himself. Without a backward glance, Jiang Yanzhou and I departed. Since I can no longer keep you by my side, I shall protect you for the rest of your life. Later, Xie Lin never returned. I looked at Jiang Yanzhou beneath the tree. Ning Ning, the lovingest flowers have bloomed this year. The end.